has a question similar to question number 9, or actually number 10. Munir says, often I remember death and I feel very afraid. I dream that I have died and I wake up very scared. Now, the fear is a human characteristic. Every single person has to be afraid. You have to fear. So, no, I'm a Muslim, I trust Allah, I depend on Allah, and I rely on Allah. Once you see a cobra or a lion charging at you, let's see your dependence on Allah Azza wa Jal. Definitely we all depend on Allah, but there is natural fear that has nothing to do with shirk or associating others with Allah. If I'm in my room and nobody's with me, and I'm afraid to read a letter or open a book or think of something, because I'm afraid that the authorities may put me behind bars or some tyrant would torture me, this fear relates to shirk. Because I'm fearing someone who does not have the ability to judge my feelings. Yet my fear is far greater than the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. But natural fear, if your house is on fire, you can't stay in your bedroom and say, I will make dhikr and inshallah it will be extinguished. No, you have to run and you have to fear. This is natural. So fearing death is natural. Now, what is not natural is the consequences. So if there is fear in you, this might be positive and this might be negative. If it drives you to stay away from sins, if it drives you to pray on time in the masjid, to fast Ramadan, to offer voluntary deeds and forms of worship, fearing Allah, loving what He has, Azza wa Jal, hoping for paradise, then this is a positive fear, because it prevents you from doing what angers Allah Azza wa Jal. But if the fear turns into an obsession, in the sense that it makes you depressed all the time, and it makes you hopeless in Allah's forgiveness and mercy, and it ends up by you saying, if this is the case, then Allah would throw me in hell and there is no use for me to pray or ask for forgiveness, and you leave all forms of worship. This is negative fear, and it is haram for you to do this thing. Now, going back to Hajj's question, it's the same thing. Fearing the punishment of the grave, this happens to all of us. We have to fear the punishment of the grave, and this is why we do not backbite, we do not take people's chit-chatting to others where they are harmed by it when they hear it. We do not do things that qualify people to be punished in the grave. So what to do? If you have something that you fear and you want a dua, a supplication, there is one great surah that the Prophet told us, ﷺ, that whoever recites it when going to bed, it is composed of 30 ayah. If you recite it every night when you go to bed, Allah Azza wa Jal will exempt you from the punishment or the torment of the grave. And that is Surah Al-Mulk. All the children in Arabia memorize it by heart. It's very easy. You can do that in less than 4 or 5 days. تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ الْمُلْكُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. 30 verses only, 30. Also, in every salat, before we conclude the salah, we say the supplication which the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to recite before salam. And that is, اللهم نعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the hellfire, the torment of the hellfire, and from the torment of the grave. So you're seeking Allah's forgiveness and refuge from such trials. And whenever you seek refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will give you what you seek. So if you do these two things, inshallah, you have nothing to fear. Khadija